Tensions between India and Pakistan have escalated dramatically, bringing two nuclear-armed neighbors closer to full-scale war, but not anymore. At the time of making this video, a huge stop recently came after Trump announced a ceasefire between the two countries. Namaste, friends. I am Katie. What we need to talk about today is the honest truth that no one is talking about in this conflict. It makes my blood boil as an American that the Western media outlets pin half the fault on India for this conflict. The West begged the countries to stop, and they did. But Pakistan keeps attacking India when India is just defending itself. If a person is getting beat up, they are not to fight back. This is essentially what is happening. It seems that Israel is the only country that really knows what is going on. It also seems that the peaceful community in Pakistan is getting its playbook from the peaceful community in Palestine. Let that sink in for a moment. They know how to play victim now and understand how to make India look like the aggressor. So here we go, again. With the woke crowd saying, let there be peace with the two countries, and the Western nations telling India and Pakistan to stop. But once they do, many people will die. It is all a big game of smoke and mirrors. India has made themselves loud and clear that they just want justice. The only thing India did was attack the areas of Pakistan where the terrorists reside. So why is that a problem for the West? Pakistan should be happy that its radical elements are being eliminated so they don't kill more people. But Pakistan is retaliating. So who is it that Pakistan is actually defending? Well, obviously not its people, or innocent people for that matter. Pakistan should have cooperated with India to begin with in finding these terrorists, but instead, they are hiding them much like they did with Osama bin Laden. On May 2, 2011, the United States conducted Operation Neptune Spear, in which SEAL Team 6 shot and killed Osama bin Laden at his home in Abbottabad, Pakistan. Bin Laden, who founded al-Qaeda and masterminded the September 11th attacks, had been the subject of an American military manhunt since the beginning of the war in Afghanistan, but escaped to Pakistan and was in hiding there for a long time. Why did it have to take a decade for the government to step up and go after him as they should have done in the beginning? But instead, they go pick a war with Iraq, which had nothing to do with the November 11th terrorist attacks? These are questions that need answers, but they fall on deaf ears. It is hard to imagine that no one else in the world can defend themselves against terror attacks, because the country defending itself will be labeled as the aggressor. India has to continue to defend itself and protect its people, but the peaceful nation, unfortunately, gets to claim victimhood when it tends to be a harbor of terrorists, as we continue to see time and time again. This is getting really, really old. The Western media is clearly on the side of Pakistan. What is most devastating thing about this is that the world is not seeing the truth, and that India does in fact want peace, even since the beginning. Not only that, but India has always been there for every nation in the world, including Pakistan. Let me give you some examples. In 2022, India offered $25 million in assistance to Pakistan for flood relief, following the country's worst floods in recent times. In 2006, India pledged $25 million to help Pakistan recover from an earthquake, with the funds to be used for housing and education. India has also been a great humanitarian to the world, so why don't these nations show their full support for India rather than relying on the media to tell them what they should think or do? Again, questions that need answers. What they should be asking is why Pakistan decided to attack again after India just eliminated the terrorists? That's the real question, but the Western media is just adding more fuel to the fire by energizing the victimhood of Pakistan, which ultimately leads to the IMF sending $1 billion to Pakistan. And the cycle starts again. We know where the money is going to go, and India does too, because they have been expressing their concerns of it for many, many years. The ridiculous fact is that other nations tend to forget about Islamic terrorism pretty quickly, especially when other countries like India and Israel try to defend themselves against it. All of a sudden, they become the victim. How many terror attacks need to happen before the world sees that? I guess the amount would be always endless. With the announcement of the ceasefire, Trump is sending the message to Pakistan that when they are ready, they have the green light to strike again. and with more funding from IMF and other countries that pitched in to contribute to terrorism in Pakistan. Trump did say in the beginning he would let them fight, so why did he all of the sudden decide to intervene? What happened to conflicts going on in India or other countries not being our responsibility? We have to take care of our own people now. We are meddling in wars when it is none of our business. Even J.D. Vance reiterated that. They are going back on their word now. Pakistan is celebrating now because this is a victory for them. Trump also promised he would not support Pakistan in the future and that we would not send funds to them anymore. But apparently that statement is not true. India's ambassador to the UN, Ambassador Mehta, addressed the assembly stating India has always advocated for peace. However, repeated provocations and support for terrorism cannot be ignored. He stated, "We urge the international community to hold accountable those who sponsor and harbor terrorists." The international community should have backed up India 200% because India has always been there to help any country in any crisis. They are always the first to step up. Now is the time for the rest of the world to stand up with India. Senior military officials, including AIR Chief Marshal Ravi Singh, stated, "In response, we executed Operation Sindoor, targeting 9 terrorist infrastructure sites across the border. Our aim was precise, to dismantle the networks that threaten our sovereignty. A snake will not stop biting if you don't kill it. If we back down now, we lose our advantage in protecting Hindus." You might be asking yourself, if you are an American, why do you care? Well, to answer your question, Islamic terror is growing across the world, including America. Seeing how America is giving into the pressure of Pakistan due to loans, well, it really does not bode well for the people here either. What happens if there is another terrorist attack on our country as Islam continues to grow its population, here opening up the chances for more radicalism? Will America react the same way? Every time we support or help Islam, it is more dangerous for us. Our lives at that point will not mean as much because Islamic radicals will cry victimhood in America. That is why every American should be paying attention to this, because America is continuing its long history of supporting the peaceful community and giving into their demands. Trump's promise was to stop supporting terrorism. So this is a tragedy for Americans too. 9/11 is not being remembered. Now let's take a look at Pakistan's point of view. The Pakistani ambassador Khan claims that India swiftly attributed this heinous act to Pakistan without concrete evidence, a pattern we've regrettably seen before. Pakistan categorically denies any involvement and condemns all forms of terrorism, as he stated. According to a 2023 U.S. State Department report, Pakistan conducted a National Risk Assessment, NRA, that evaluated 87 terrorist organizations, identifying 41 as active within the country. The assessment highlighted donations and extortion as key funding sources, with cash couriers and illegal money transfer services, such as Hawala networks, being common channels. Historically, certain educational institutions have been linked to extremist activities. For instance, in 2016, the provincial government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa allocated a $3 million grant to the Darul Uloom Haqqaniya Seminary, known for its associations with militant figures. This decision faced criticism due to the seminary's reputation as a breeding ground for Islamic militants. So, knowing this, why is America supporting Pakistan? Throwing money at Pakistan makes the problem worse, and why doesn't America enforce a stricter policy on Pakistan to go after its radical elements? Or at least go to the country and find out where the money ends up. Otherwise, they will just continue to plan out massacres because no one bothers to police their country with terrorist elements, all while telling India to stop defending itself. You cannot make this stuff up. We all must do our part on social media to control the narrative, and we cannot let them get away with this because the peaceful community will result in pieces of us. We cannot listen to what other nations are telling India to do because they are not the boss. We are. It is our home, and we have every right to defend it. What other countries are telling us to do is inexcusable and none of their business. India is strong enough to stand on its own 2 feet and fight back. It does not need a lecture from anyone, including America, and America also should not give advice to an indigenous community about what they should do when they themselves have been the destruction of indigenous communities within the United States and all around the world by meddling in regime change wars. India should never trust it and not back down in regards to the conflict. India should just see it as a suggestion, but continue to fight back as they are attacked by Pakistan. At the time of making this video, this is what is going on now. So let's seek control of the narrative before it is too late, and I will raise my voice for Hindus. In this way, we are standing up for humanity and doing what is right. This is the way we continue to breathe Dharma. See you soon.